Repression against migrants continues in Russia. Another example of this occurred in Samara. Law enforcement officers in Samara broke into the training of the Team Young football team and detained about 20 people, reported the local Ministry of Internal Affairs. They were accused of attacks on opponents and spectators, as well as insults on national grounds. At least 10 people were forced to read the text on camera, which ends with the words, "That's how I need it." Police officers broke into the team's training session on Friday evening, according to a video published by the local Telegram channel, Samara Football. The video shows how security forces in camouflage run onto the field and put the players face down on the ground. Already on Sunday, the Ministry of Internal Affairs confirmed to RIA Novosti the detention of about 20 football players. Most are illegal migrants. Those who were under the influence of drugs and with violations will be deported, most likely, said the interlocutor of the state agency. The next day after the detention, the multinational Telegram channel published 10 videos in which 10 people recite almost the same text. They name their family, name, father's name, date of birth, and then pronounce, "I love Russia and all its people. I will never insult the local population again. I have no complaints against law enforcement agencies. Serves me right." In one of the videos, the detainee doesn't say the last phrase, "That's what I need," after which a man's voice behind the frame indicates to him, he didn't read everything. In another video, the detainee with difficulty pronounces the necessary text, which, apparently, causes laughter from those behind the frame. The local, Komsomolskaya Pravda, a journalist who spoke with the players of the team, writes that the players of Team Young are on these videos. Also, in the video of the detention, you can see at least one person dressed in the same way as in the video of the apologies.
During the autumn-winter campaign, Russian occupiers will try, first of all, to resolve the issue of advancing to the Slavyansk-Kramatorsk agglomeration. This opinion was expressed by the director of the information and consulting company Defense Express, Sergei Zgurets. The Pokrovsk direction remains the most difficult. The goals that the enemy set for the summer campaign, which began there at the end of May, they have not actually been achieved. Because the course to the Slavyansk-Kramatorsk agglomeration, which was the most important for the enemy and remains the most important, is in fact being achieved extremely slowly. In 2024 and 2025, Russia was able to capture less than 1% of our territory, he said on air at Espresso. According to him, a certain regrouping is currently taking place. We expect the beginning of the autumn-winter campaign, where the enemy will also try to first of all resolve the issue of advancing towards the Slavyansk-Kramatorsk agglomeration, where the capture of Pokrovsk is extremely necessary for the enemy, the analyst said. Zgurets noted that without capturing Pokrovsk, the Russians will not be able to move further to Dobropolye and in the direction of Kramatorsk. Right now, we can actually split into two components as they assess the situation around Pokrovsk. These are military actions somewhat higher up in the Dobropolye zone. The remnants of Russian troops there are in a certain encirclement, but there is an insignificant number of Russian military personnel, and now these military personnel are being supplied by drones. The Russians are trying to provide assistance to these 50 or 100 military personnel who have found themselves in this trap, the expert said. According to him, counter-attacks are being carried out from the Ukrainian side to cut off the Russian group at the very heart of this penetration. He said, "At this time, the enemy is carrying out attacks, including on Pokrovsk from the south and from the west, where, in fact, they are trying to push through our defense and influence the logistics around Pokrovsk. So, in any case, Pokrovsk will continue to remain the hottest spot, and in my opinion, it will be the main target of the Russian campaign. And here is the end of the summer and the beginning of the autumn-winter one. Zgurets also commented on the situation in the Zaporizhia direction. In his opinion, we need to talk about the zone where the administrative borders of three regions coincide: Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhia, and Donetsk. This is precisely the line that runs along the Volcha River, and it is there that the enemy is really trying to squeeze into the Dnipropetrovsk region. In certain areas, the enemy has succeeded. And when we talk now about such a specific intrigue or the dynamics of current actions, then there are actually two settlements there. Malievka belongs to the Donetsk region, and Temirovka belongs to the Zaporizhia region, the analyst said. He claims that between these two settlements, the Russians are trying to advance towards these settlements and thus capture, in particular, Kamyshevaka, in order to create complications for our military. In any case, this direction is not as active as Pokrovsk on the one hand, but I would put it in second place in terms of the intensity of military actions and the enemy's desire to advance in the Dnipropetrovsk region to create threats from the Zaporizhia direction for the Zaporizhia front, and actually to create risks when he tries to advance north, just like Pokrovsk, to the highway that supplies this settlement from the west. He added, a group of infantrymen from the Karadag Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine broke out of enemy captivity, but were surrounded in the Pokrovsk direction near Kamyshevka. During the mission, aerial reconnaissance officers noticed Ukrainian soldiers naked, burned with their hands tied. As reported by Bucha Plus channel, in order to establish contact, the scouts wrote notes, put them in plastic bottles and passed them to their brothers in arms using a drone. This method of communication allowed them to coordinate their actions and organize resistance. Everyone fought back, even the seriously wounded, under heavy fire and attacks from enemy drones. The infantrymen marched 8 kilometers under fire, and all this time, aerial reconnaissance corrected their route with the help of drones. The most serious sector of the front line is currently Pokrovsk, where more than 100,000 Russian troops have been concentrated. The situation also remains dangerous in the Zaporizhia direction, President Volodymyr Zelensky said. Zelensky listed the main directions of the front line and briefly described what is happening there. Pokrovsk direction, the most serious situation here. Russian forces have accumulated more than 100,000 personnel and are preparing offensive actions. However, Ukraine is aware of this and controls the situation. Recall the 15th Brigade of Operational Assignment is a unit of Ukrainian National Guard from the city of Zaporizhia. The unit was formed as 9th Regiment of Operational Purpose on the basis of disbanded 9th Special Purpose Regiment Cheetah in August 2014. On February the 24th, 2022, the unit was urgently dispatched to stop the Russian advance towards Melitopol and Tokmak. The regiment managed to slow down and eventually stop the Russian progress. In January 2023, the 9th Operational Regiment was reformed into an assault brigade under the Offensive Guard program and renamed as 15th Brigade of Operational Assignment and received nickname Karadag. Recently, 3 more units from the Offensive Guard joined the 1st Corps of the National Guard of Ukraine, in addition to the 12th Special Forces Brigade, Azov. This was reported by the press service of the Corps on its Telegram page. The operational and tactical unit of the National Guard is headed by Colonel Denis Redis Prokopenko. The Corps from the Offensive Guard includes the following units: 1st Presidential Operational Brigade Burevi, 14th Operational Brigade Chervono Kalina, 15th Operational Brigade Karadag,